Welcome back to the Lone Ranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage. If you have questions for me, maybe you're looking at buying a home, refinancing, maybe you're looking at selling a home, maybe you need a real estate referral from my real estate rebate program that puts money back in your pocket. And maybe you're a veteran and you're looking to refinance, or you have an FHA loan or a conventional loan, and maybe you have enough equity now to get rid of the PMI. Here's what we do. When we're looking at a refinance transaction for you, we want to make sure that we have a break-even period of less than 36 months. Okay. That is a litmus test. You got to have a break-even in less than 36 months, or it's generally just not going to be worth it. So now that's not the case on a cash out refinance, but it's on what's called a rate and term refinance. Now, I want to get into something really important. So I want you to write my phone number down before I talk about this, because this is serious. This is serious stuff. Okay. My phone number in Orlando is 407-706-3313. Now, I hope you write that down. I hope you save me in your phone. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. Now, Tampa, my Tampa Bay office, 813-213-4009. I shouldn't have said Tampa Bay office. It's my cell phone. 813-213-4009. So here's what I'm going to speak to you veterans. Okay. If you own a home and you have an interest rate over, say, 6.5, 6.75, you should be calling me about a VA refinance Earl. But I want to warn you about some things that are happening out there. And these aren't happening. I expect mortgage brokers to misbehave and mislead clients on a regular basis. I see it every single day. When you pick a mortgage broker, that mortgage broker has no control over the transaction. They can't order the appraisal. They can collect your money. They can't order it. They can't disclose any terms. They can't do anything. They can't do the closing package. And they're definitely not going to keep your loan because they're not a lender to keep it. So they go to a big lender like me to get a loan approved. Why do you want to go through them as a middleman instead of coming right to me? But here's what's happening. And this is happening not just with brokers. It's happening with some of the major players in the VA arena. Now, I haven't seen fines for all of them yet, but I'm seeing bad behavior from some of these big companies, and I don't like it, particularly when it affects a veteran. And I'm seeing that clients are being preyed on by lenders that are lying to veterans when it comes to doing a VA refinance. They are promising things that they can't do and then surprising them afterwards. Now, even a company like New Day was fined $2.25 million for deceptive practices. That's right. So you think the big players are where to go? You got to remember, who are the big players that got this country into trouble in the first place? Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Countrywide, which is not the same as Cross Country Mortgage, not ever the same, never was the same. Countrywide, all those big players that were doing mortgages and got us into trouble. Now, I think that got cleaned up in 2010. And I think that a lot of the bad mortgage companies got out of the business because the hammer came down on them. But I'm seeing a lot of bad actors coming back into the mortgage arena right now. So if you are being solicited by mail, by text, by email, by phone call from a lender to refinance your home, don't answer the phone and hang up. Now, if you called a lender and they pulled your credit report, you're going to get bombarded with phone calls from other lenders immediately. And here's why. The credit bureaus have won in court because they say that your credit information is their data and they can sell it. And when you pull your credit for a mortgage, those bureaus go out to mortgage companies that, in my opinion, are predatory. Now, these are called trigger leads. So your credit's pulled, say, by me, and then the credit bureaus go, oh, John and Mary Smith are applying for a mortgage. Let's sell their information to any mortgage company. They'll buy it for $5 per lead, and they'll sell thousands of them. And then you're bombarded with these phone calls that I can get you a better deal. I can do this. I can listen. They are scammers. If they're buying your lead from your private information, which I am literally disgusted that actually even happens, but I can't control it. The credit bureaus believe that it's their data and they sell it. So if you are getting calls, I don't advise you take them. These are scammers. They're going to get your information. I had a client the other day that I did her mortgage, and it's time for her to refinance her VA loan. And she had this lender. I looked at the estimate they gave me. They didn't have any of the closing costs even on the estimate that have to be charged. You're not going to avoid paying the state of Florida their intangible taxes. You're not going to avoid having title insurance updated. You're not going to avoid any of that stuff. It's got to be on there. They didn't even have prepaid interest from the day they closed. It's got to be on there. They were missing everything. But this guy was so convincing. And he was even telling my client, I'm with the VA. First of all, the VA will not call you and they will not solicit you, and they don't do mortgages. The VA only insure mortgages for veterans. They don't do the mortgage. You can't call VA and get a VA mortgage. Lenders like me, and I'm a direct VA lender. I'm not a middleman VA lender. We lend and VA insures. That's how it's done. But if you've got a mortgage and you're a veteran, I want you to be aware of the scams that are happening out there right now. Right now. And you are prey. So if you know somebody that's a veteran, I want you to call them and give them my phone number, because I will make sure they're protected. I will make sure they're not taken advantage of. I will make sure that if it's a right time for them to refinance, we tell them that and we show them the benefits of it. But don't let these scammers get a hold of them. And I'm seeing it every day. All right. That's my subject on VA and what you need to be aware of. I'm going to chop that up, put it out on my YouTube channel. We'll send it out on Reels. And if you have anybody you want to pass it on to or like it, go to my YouTube page at Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger, and subscribe right now, if you don't mind, please. So it really helps me get me up in the rankings, and it helps more people find me. Okay. So I don't advertise. This is my show I do, but I don't advertise. So my word of mouth is everything to me. So share me with your friends, family. Like me on my whatever it is. You like me on Facebook and you Twitter me on. I don't know how to do all that. I have people that help me do it, but you know how to do it, or you probably have a kid that can do it for you. So do that. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. All of my shows are posted on my YouTube channel. You can also like me and be friends with me on the Facebook. I think we can do that somehow. I'm not sure how that's done, but I know you can do it. And I'd like to stay in communication with you. I will always give you fair, accurate, and no fake news information. Right now, I'm going to tell you, rates are up. All your other lenders are going, oh, rates are down. Rates are down. You know what? They were down on February 27th, was the best day we'd seen in probably 2.5 years. February 27th. But then we went to war, and all the oil's getting shut down over there. What do you think's happening to interest rates? They're going up. We lost 70 basis points in the bond market. Now, that's not a crash, and that's not call to hold off, because a lot of people are out looking and buying homes and refinancing right now. But it might be a time to pause on locking the rate. That's all I'm telling you. Let somebody that's honest with you tell you how to do it. 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009. 813-213-4009, or go to webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Promise you'll always get the very best. Now, I want all of you that are thinking about purchasing a home, to hear this. There are ways to get better deals, but you have to do a couple of things that are important. First of all, you have to have the right real estate agent. Let me help you with that. I will get you the best person in your area that I have pre-vetted, and I will give them instructions on how to negotiate that transaction so that you win. You got to win. That's what I'm going to do to help you. Now, here's another thing. I want you to know that there are options when it comes to negotiation, and there's ways to get better deals. Now, here's one of the things that I do when I'm negotiating. I believe that you are better off to have a seller picking up your closing costs than reducing the price by the same amount. And I will demonstrate to you the huge advantages of that. And if you are a real estate agent and you don't understand the math, then you call me. I will demonstrate it to you. But I can assure you that unless you're just putting 50% down, it's always better to get closing costs paid. So what I do now is I fully approve your loan. I help you with your real estate agent. They negotiate it, and I get that realtor to negotiate as many closing costs as I can for you. Why? Because then I can buy your rate down and the seller's paying for it, and I'm avoiding you having to refinance in the future. Now, most lenders don't want to do that. Why don't they want to do that? Because they want to refinance you in the future. Now, I may be the dumbest mortgage guy in town because I'm not setting you up for that. But that's why people trust me. That's why they come back to me time and time again. You got my friends, Deb and Rich. I must have done 5 or 6 loans for them. My friend Ruby, she's now a millionaire from doing my Leapfrog program. I've got Charles out there, and I don't want to name last names, but I've got Brent and his whole family. They on and on, and they keep coming back. Why do they come back? Because they're smart and they know they got somebody that's got their back. That's why they keep coming back. And I promise you, my team will never let you down. They're not going to lie. They're not going to cheat. They're not going to swindle. They're not going to fast talk you. And you get a meeting with me, every client. And I go on a Zoom meeting if you can't meet me in person, and we go through the numbers together so you know. I even help you shop your rate. So we pull up rates and I can show you Saxon, I can show you Morgan Stanley and Chase and Wells Fargo, and I'll show you Rocket Mortgage. We'll put them all on the screen. We'll put them all on the screen. There's no hiding. I'll show you everything. And then we'll lock right in to make sure we get the best. Now, people get the best with me. Why? Because I'm a direct Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae lender. I'm direct. I'm not a middleman. I'm not a broker. You don't pay a broker fee. Nothing. You don't pay an application fee here. And I have every loan program you need. Realtors, if you're not in relationship with me and you're not referring your clients to me, I promise you, you could do better. You could do better. You'll get more business. You'll have happier clients. They're going to love you for referring you to my team. They're going to get white glove Neiman Marcus service and great interest rates. And I keep 90% of the loans. You go to a mortgage broker, you know what percentage of loans they keep? Zero. You know how many your average lender keeps? Zero. There's very few that keep them. Very few that keep them. Wells Fargo keeps them, but they can't put a loan together for the life of them. I love it when clients go to Wells Fargo. Hey, I got to take a break. I got a lot long-winded here. But you come to me, I'll get your loan taken care of. 407-706-3313 or Tampa at 813-213-4009 or webringyouhome.com. I'll take a 5-minute break and I'll be back. I got a lot more to talk about that you won't want to miss. This is money in your pocket. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.